Hello everybody, this is Bubonicc and or Rung's Eyebrows and Royal Wrecker, to which of anybody who chooses to watch the Optic tutorial. I say all the Transformer stuff because this is probably going to end its way over there. I figured the Optic tutorial would be a good thing to show, considering I did a typed out tutorial version of it a long time ago, and I am personally someone who learns better from watching. So I figured it would be nice to have a video tutorial along with it in case nobody understood the typed out one. And it's a fairly easy process and it shouldn't take you long at all, especially if you know your way around Paint Tool Cyan and you want a really quick, easy way to do optics. So I already have this doodle of Bumblebee I did because I needed a base for the optics. I personally draw with the brush tool, but it really doesn't matter what you use, considering if your lines are closed like this, they're not broken like here, you can just use the bucket tool, which I have taken advantage of, and just fill it in. So before all that, below your line art layer you want to make a new layer, which the new layer button is right here, and then you can either use the bucket tool or fill it in by hand with the base color, which is over here, and which I will have linked to the bottom of the Tumblr post, the palette, so you can use it. So this is the base color that you'll want to use, and this is the shadow layer, the shadow color that we'll be using on a separate layer in 1 second. So back to the base color. Now that you have the base color underneath your line art, make a new layer above your base color. It might help you if you name it base color, but I usually don't name my layers because I'm lazy. So your new layer above your base color, you want to clip group and then get a white and make a set of rings for your robot's eyes. Now there's several different ways you can do this. I prefer the ring like this kind of ring, or you can do the filled in one like this. It's up to you really, it doesn't matter, but I prefer the ring. I'm trying to get this right so it looks correct. That's good enough. Okay, so now that you have your rings on a separate layer, make a new layer above that and also clip it to the already clipped layer, and this is where your shadow color comes in. And make sure that when you have this new clipped layer, change the mode to multiply. And now go back to your shading color and make arches here, and because it's on multiply you'll be able to see your ring slightly through, which is the point. And it might be too dark for you, it's really up to you. You can lower the opacity or higher it, and that's why it's important to have it on a top layer, so if when you lower the opacity, it doesn't lower the opacity of your rings either, or your base color. Because it's attached to the base color, it's going to do that. So you can edit it all you want without it affecting the rest. I usually leave it like that. I don't mess with the opacity, but I do take the airbrush and I do add a little bit of a softer look with the same shadow color, just to give it a nice soft feeling. That does that. Okay. Now that that's done, I usually will add a glow to it, but that's not until the very, very end, not that there's many more steps. Now above your line art layer, make a new layer, and this is where I add the shimmer, the little shimmer dots. It's important to do it above the line art, especially if you're someone like me who changes the color of your line art later, because if you add them on top of the line art layer like this, and then lock the layer and then change the color to something to like almost match Bumblebee's tone, you will change the color of the shimmers as well, and it won't look good. So make sure if you're going to do a shimmer, you keep it on a layer above your lines and color, like this, to add the shimmer. I usually add a little extras. And then I take the marker. Usually I mess with the settings. I don't really have any specific setting. It's always random for me. And I'll add little, very lightly, add what looks like that, kinda. Just do that a little bit, still above the line art. Sometimes I won't add those. It looks fine just like that. And now the glow will also go on the top layer with the shimmer. I'll usually do it on the same layer because it doesn't matter. Take the airbrush. You don't want a full density, so lower it to whatever desired effect. Usually takes me a couple tries sometimes. And very lightly, usually one touch, don't hold it down because it'll just get really dark and it won't look good. Very lightly stroke, and then you have the bit of a glow, and you can turn it on and off. So it looks like that, so it's good. And that's how you do the simple optic tutorial for me. See, now that in case I don't like those rings, I can just erase it and go back and fix them. Of course I don't mess up those, but yeah, that's how you do the simple optic tutorial. It's roughly the same for any other colored optics, especially if you're going to use white, and like red is usually the same because the ring is always white. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for tuning in.